morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode number 156 for the first day of March 2022. So we're starting into the third month of the year. Hard to believe that January and February just flew by. Well, that's what it felt like to me anyways. So let's get right down to my current projects. So I have finally finished my Sittin on the Fence quilt. This is, or as I like to call it, the old lady quilt. And you have seen this before, but now it's completely done. Here it is, all layered, all bound, all quilted. And I think it turned out pretty good, in spite of the fact that these are not the colors that I would have picked. But it came in a kit, as you know, and I've had that kit sitting on my shelf for, well, probably about 4 years. So it was time to get it off the shelf and get it done. And I did. So here is a shot of the quilting, and I'll just blow it up a little bit. As usual, it blends into the back pretty good. I did a sort of an open feather motif, and I used a pantograph on this one. And I just thought that this motif has sort of a old-fashioned but elegant look, and I thought it would suit this quilt well. And here it is on the front side of it. Just blow it up a little bit more so you can see. Now, I will confess, if you look right in here and over here, there was one spot where I think I got interrupted. I got myself turned around and I started going back on what I'd already quilted. So you see, you have some double lines here. Now, it's very pronounced as you see it in this picture, but when you see the overall quilt in real life, really, you can't pick it out. And I don't know, just adds a little bit more dimension to it. So what am I doing with this quilt? Well, right now it's gone onto the love seat in our family room. I've decided that with each quilt that I make, I'm going to put it on display until the next one is made. And I did have a scrappy quilt that I really love, and you've seen it on the back of this couch. And so I have swapped it out and put the old lady Sittin on the Fence quilt there. The colors actually go very well with my color scheme in the room because it's, as you can see by the cushions and by the couch itself and the rug, these colors fit right in. Not that that particularly is a worry for me when I put a quilt out on display, because quilts are like trees in a forest. No two are alike and they all blend in together. So that's where my latest creations will sit, so they can be on display. Not that anybody comes over, you know, it's just Walter and I, but at least it's there for a bit. And you've seen some of these before, but I've made a few more. This is the next wall hanging I'm making. It's a bookshelf theme, and this is all done in the hoop, as I've mentioned before. But something that's kind of different about this is these pieces here. This, let me blow it up a little bit for you. This one with the jar of flowers, and you notice this ripply, shiny effect. That's mylar. And I've never worked with mylar before. That's an iridescent mylar. But on a big haul that I'll talk about later that I got from Stitch in the Ditch out west, they had mylar sheets on sale. So I thought I'd buy some because I've seen those in other patterns, wall hangings and things like that. And I thought I might give it a try. And I did it here as well. And it's all bumpy because it's actually the embroidery machine did a stippling pattern on top of it. And it's very thin plastic or vinyl, but it doesn't rip, and it sews just like fabric for the most part. And on this one right here, this is supposed to be a mirror, they said, so I used the amber colored one and put that in, and it's stippled over top of it. So I think I'll use mylar again if a pattern calls for it, because really it does a really great job. I mean, it's easy to use and it adds kind of a dimension. Now, of course, it's not washable, so you certainly wouldn't use it in a quilt, but in a wall hanging that's not going to get washed, it's perfectly okay. And here's some close-ups of those three panels for you right here as well, so you can see this, the iridescence in these two, and then the amber in this one. So that's what I've been up to. And so what's next? Well, I mentioned the Stitch in the Ditch haul, and I do have a picture of that, which I'll show you here. And here's the Stitch in the Ditch haul that I got. Now, last week, I have to correct something. I told you I had placed this order, but I said I placed it with Stitch It Central in London, Ontario. That's where I got this pattern, the strong and free pattern right here. Oh, I'm showing you the wrong picture. This is not my Stitch in the Ditch haul, okay? This is my Stitch in the Ditch haul. Sorry about that. This makes more sense. But anyways, as I said, from Stitch It Central in London, Ontario, I had gotten that pattern. The, whatever you want to call it. What's it called? Okay, mental block. Threw myself off completely. Sorry. Back on track. That's where I got strong and free pattern, okay? So then I thought I would order some more things from them because they were really quick getting that pattern out to me. In the meantime, Stitch in the Ditch had a Valentine's Day sale. And for some reason in my head, I'm thinking I'm ordering it from Stitch It Central, but I wasn't. I was ordering it from Stitch in the Ditch, which is out in BC. Okay? I mean, they both had Stitch in their title, so, whatever. But here's the haul that I got. Now, they had these half yard, and they're half yard, not half meter, half yard pieces of fabric on sale. Most of them are batiks, and there was a really good price. I think they were on sale for $4.99. So that's pretty good for half a yard, really. So I ordered a bunch of them, as you can see. They're not all batiks. That's not a batik. That's not a batik. That's not a batik. That's not a batik. But pretty much the rest of them are batiks. And then they had on sale a couple of charm packs. And it's always good. I always like to have a few somewhat neutrally toned charm packs around because they're great, especially when I'm doing in the hoop projects. Because oftentimes you just need a little piece of fabric, right? And yes, you can use your scraps, but I like to have these on hand as well. Here's the Mylar that I've just talked about, what it came in. I think there's 10 sheets maybe in a tube or something. They were on sale for $13.99. Mylar is not particularly inexpensive. In fact, don't go to Amazon, at least not the Canadian Amazon, to buy Mylar. Not this kind of Mylar, because it is very expensive. It's like $40-some or something like that. So I got a good price. And especially when it was something I was going to try out for the first time. And here you can see, I'm sorry, there's a glare. This was a little whim buy. It's a gnome, and it's an Irish gnome for, I guess, St. Paddy's Day. And yeah, I ordered it, and I forget what it cost, but I didn't realize it, but these applique pieces already are laser cut out, and they're already backed with fusible web. So shouldn't be too hard to put that together really quick. Maybe later today I'll do it. Because, this is now March the 1st, and St. Paddy's Day is March 17th. And if I want to make maybe a little banner or something to put on my front door, I should get that done. And then they had, and this is how they got me. Okay, you offer me something free, I'm there. They said that if you ordered over $100 worth of stuff, you got free chocolates. Well, they're Hershey's Kisses, but that's okay. It's chocolate nevertheless. And some other free gifts. Well, this little package came in my big package, and there's the chocolates, and I got 2 spools of Aurifil thread. Neither one I'll probably ever use, but, I can give them away to somebody. A little package of beads and buttons, and these can't see it very well, it's in the package, but these are tiny little scissors, embroidery scissors. Not expensive ones, and they got this, well, little fairy thingy, ballerina, I don't know what she is on the handle, but cute. But nevertheless, it's free. So what can I say? And I got free shipping as well. Because my whole haul here costs me about $199, okay, when it's done with tax and with shipping. But anyways, I think I did pretty good on that deal as well, especially at the price of the fabric. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about is let me go to it over here. I do have my fabric all cut for this pattern, the strong and free. I have not started sewing it together yet. I've been sort of doing other things. I'm getting ready for the retreat. More about that later on. And yeah, so that's all done, ready cut. Time to get sewing. Okay, now another project that I'll be working on in the future once the parts come together, and I'm going to show you this pattern and the book in a little later on here, but it's a mariner's compass, and I've always wanted to make a mariner's compass, but you know what's deterred me from it is mariner compasses I don't think are that easy, and most of the patterns for mariner compasses I've seen do have a lot of Y seams in them. And yes, I can do Y seams, but they're tedious. And if I don't have to do them, I don't. But there is a lady called Robin Ruth. Now, this may not be news to you, but it is news to me. And she has a whole system of rulers and instructions for making various types of mariner's compasses. So, I have ordered all of the rulers. I started with the one book, which I'm going to show you a little bit later on. Came with one of the rulers. I was a little confused whether or not I needed more rulers. Well, yeah, you really do. So I went on Amazon. I bought all the rulers that I need for this. It's a bit of overkill, I think. Yeah, $175 later. Now I'm waiting for them to arrive. I think they're in 2 shipments. One, I think, is coming later this week. And the rest of it is not coming until, well, you know how Amazon gives you the spread of time, right? Sometime between March 11th to March 24th or 28th. But I'm not in any rush for these kind of things because, you know, this is a project that's going to be a challenge even with the rulers, and it's going to take me some time. So, you know, this might be my big challenge of the year. We'll see. But anyways, I've got those things on order, and when they come in, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So moving on here. So for this week's demo, I'm taking a look at something that's not necessarily exclusively for quilters or sewers, but it's something that I do use quite a bit, and it's my clips and hangers and holders. They're what I use. Well, if you look over my shoulder at the back, you can see my little blocks. They're all hanging on those little white things. Well, those are command hooks. And I often hang, you know, strips of fabric or blocks or rows of things that I'm sewing in a quilt up there because I don't have a design wall. I've tried to figure out where I could put one, but I do not have wall space in my sewing room to put up a design wall. So I usually have to use the floor in the rec room for that kind of thing. But if it's a smaller piece than that, I can actually hang them on the clips. But I can use them for so many other things. So I made a little video to show you what I'm talking about. So this week I thought I'd talk about clips. Clips, hangers, holders. I use a lot of clips. I love clips. I love things that hold things together, hold things up, things you can hang things from. I love all of that kind of thing. So you can see here in my picture, these are my go-to clips that I use for a variety of things. I use the small ones, they're Wonder Clips, and I do have generic Wonder Clips because Wonder Clips do tend to be a little bit on the pricey side, and I have found you can get fairly good value and they're fairly good quality from ones that are not made by Clover because they're the manufacturer of Wonder Clips, and you can get these on Amazon, the generic ones, for very reasonable price. For 10 Wonder Clips, it probably will cost you anywhere from $10 to $12, whereas I can get a package of 100 for like $20, and they work just as well as the Wonder Clips, so I have found. However, having said that, I do lean towards the Wonder Clips because they just, for some reason, they do feel a little bit more substantial. Now, you can also see I buy the larger ones as well. I use these a lot for holding my fabric pieces together, my cut fabric, to keep them organized for my quilting projects and things like that. I'll use them to hold rolls of binding that I've made for a project that I'm working on. I use them to hold patterns together. They are very, very essential for me. And again, these Wonder Clips, Clover, makes these types of longer clips as well, but you can get generic ones on Amazon that are a lot cheaper. So that's one thing I can't live without. I need my little clips. Another thing that I use a lot are these up here, command hooks. And I love command hooks. I use them for all kinds of things. You can see here that I actually put a whole row of these onto my fabric shelves, and I have these curtain clips. I just got them at Home Depot, someplace like that, and they have a little clip on the bottom of them, sort of like a clothes peg, but made of metal. And I use these a lot for holding temporarily blocks up on my fabric shelves. Now you see, I don't have a design wall because I don't have anywhere to put one. So I often will use this as a sort of a design wall, or when I'm working on a quilt top that I've already pieced some of the rows together, I will use these round little clips here and hang them from the command hooks across the shelves so I can get a better look at it. But I also use them for hanging up my rulers and things, as you can see here. And you know, the one thing I like about command hooks is they can be taken off very easily. They're very strong. They will support a fair amount of weight. And when you need to remove them, it's very easy to do without marking up your walls. So I can't say enough about command hooks. In fact, I buy so many of them. I buy them on Amazon because I get them at a little less expensive price, and I can buy them almost in bulk format. I even buy the replacement sticky strips that go on the back of them, and I'll use those sticky strips on the backs of other things without the hooks because they hold really well. So instead of using tape or two-sided tape, I'll use one of these. And again, they will come off without mostly marking up a surface. Another thing, as you can see here, is I use them as quilt hangers because they'll hold about, I think these particular ones will hold up to about a pound. I use those in combination with the rings to hang my quilts as well. So they're really easy for that. It spares you the effort of having to put in a sleeve in the back. And if I want to take down a quilt and put another one up on display, it's really easy to unclip them from this setup. Now, something that you would not think is really related to quilting or sewing is how I hold my iPad or my iPhone. I bought this device right here off from Amazon some time ago. In fact, I have two of them, and I really love them. They think they were just about $30 Canadian. They will hold an iPad, as you can see, and I have this one set up by my sewing machine when I'm doing Zoom calls, Zoom days. I will have that close to me so I can monitor the Zoom. And this little part that holds the iPad, that comes with 3 different sizes that very easily, and you can't see it in this picture, but clip onto the back of this holder so you can hold your cell phone with it, or a pad that isn't necessarily an iPad. It works really, really well, and you can't beat the price. And this is bendable, so you can bend it whatever way you want it, whatever way works best. And this is another one that I bought many years ago that I use for my other iPad that sits by my computer, and it's the one that I use a lot for editing my videos. And this one is on a bracket that actually expands, so you can raise it or lower it, and you can swivel it around, and it's held by a suction. Now, I really like this, except the only problem with this one is sometimes the suction lets go. I find if I mist a little water underneath it and put it down, it holds pretty good. I would like to use one of those holders that I just showed you on here, but I don't have an edge to clamp it on, and that's one thing I didn't mention. The way that particular holder works is that there is a clamp down here, which you can't really see. It has to clamp on the edge of an overhang. So if you don't have something like that, it's not going to be that useful for you. And that's where this particular one comes in. Now, I don't know where I bought this, but I'm pretty sure, I think I bought it at Costco many years ago, and I think it was around the $30 price range then. You might be able to pick it up on Amazon. I haven't looked for that because I've had this one so long. But that's how I use clips and hangers and holders. Okay, so that takes me to the subscribers quilt of the week, and this is not a quilt. These are hats, and they're fascinating. And I did an interview some time ago on the Idiot Quilter Presents with this lady, Adrienne Bennett, and she is one of my guest speakers for the retreat this coming weekend, March the 5th. And her hats are fascinating. She designs them herself. She makes them herself. It is an art. It is a real art. So I thought I would just share with you a couple of the pictures that she sent to me in the past week that are intended for the trunk show, and they will be there again. But because she's going to be at the retreat, I thought I would just show you her some samples of her lovely creations. This week's quilts from a subscriber are not quilts, they're hats. And the reason I wanted to bring this up today is because Adrienne Bennett, who creates these fantastic fashion statements, is going to be one of my guest speakers at the Idiot Quilter retreat this coming Saturday. So I thought I'd give you a little preview of what she'll be talking about. She sent me a couple of pictures for the trunk show of a couple of her latest hat creations, and I just thought I'd give you a little preview. Now, she makes a lot more than just these two hats, and in a variety of styles, which are absolutely fascinating. They are truly works of art. So I thought I'd show those today and give you a little glimpse at what Adrienne is going to be talking about and the whole journey she has gone through in terms of making hats and learning how to make hats, and her design process is absolutely fascinating. So if you haven't signed up for the retreat yet, you should, or you're going to miss out on something that's really, really inspiring. And that takes us to the YouTube channel of the week, and it's Sunrise Quilt Studio. This week's YouTube channel is called Sunrise Quilt Studio, and this one has some interesting elements to it that I think most people would be interested in. For example, if you look here on the home page, we have vintage quilt blocks, and it looks like she's done quite a number of these because this is vintage quilt block number 42. And she has one here, the Providence, Sampler, Marion's Choice, that kind of thing. And if we go into her playlist, which gives us a better idea of how she organizes this site, you see she has 2022 videos, Christmas quilts and projects, 2021 quilt projects, Christmas basket quilt, things about domestic sewing machines, beginner level quilt blocks. So if you're just starting out in this might be a good one to check out. Vintage block series, which I've already mentioned, and many, many more. So there's quite a variety of different topics. Now, her videos seem to be very clearly done, very nicely presented, and fairly professional as well. She does have over 10,000 subscribers, so she must be doing something right. She's very, very popular. So if you want to check out vintage blocks, if you want to maybe discover new blocks that you haven't seen before that you'd like to make, or if you're just getting into quilting, then you might want to check out Sunrise Quilt Studio. So the pattern that's on my vision board that I want to get to is the one I just mentioned by Ruth Robin Designs. The Mariner's Compass ruler is used to make her Mariner's compasses, and she has them in all kinds of different sizes. And so I thought I'd talk a little bit more about this. This week's pattern on my vision board is one that isn't actually on my vision board because I've just ordered it. I've seen a lot of talk on various YouTube channels about someone by the name of Robin Ruth. And she seems to have these books and patterns and rulers that go together to create what are usually seen as very complex type of quilt blocks. And one of these blocks that I've wanted to make for a long time, but I'll have to be honest, have scared me away because I think they're fairly complex and there might be Y seams involved, is called a Mariner's Compass. And I have a picture of it right up here. And this is what I have ordered, and I haven't received it yet because I just ordered it and it's supposed to come next week. So when it does arrive, I'll talk maybe a little bit more about it then. But if you take a look at this, This says, and I was a little confused by the description. It says this is the booklet, and I am assuming that this will teach you how to make a mariner's compass. It's the pattern for the basic block. And then it's got this 32-point mariner's compass ruler, and they show it here off to the side. The thing is, I am confused. It says ruler is included here, but when I read the description in Amazon, it says here, for use with Skinny Robin 45-degree mariner's compass ruler and or Fat Robin 60-degree mariner's compass ruler, to be used with those. Well, I didn't order those because I'm waiting to see what is actually going to come with this. That's what I'm a little confused about. Here is the back of the packaging, and it says go from 16 points to 32 points. Okay, and it shows you there. Add the companion booklets. Okay. And it talks about purchasing these other rulers, templates. I don't know the whole thing. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what I get when this order comes through. And if I need to order something else, I will. This was not particularly inexpensive, but it wasn't that expensive either, because, you know, rulers usually run you, you know, in the $30 range and up. And this total with this and with this was $36.19 Canadian. So it's on its way, and I'll see when it comes what I get with it, and I'll let you know. But I have always wanted to do a mariner's compass, and so I thought this might be a really good way to get my feet wet in that particular block design. And that takes me to the Idiot Quilter Presents. And unfortunately, again, I do not have an interview for you. I do have a couple of feelers out for people to interview. So once I hear back from them, I'll get another interview up, I hope, shortly. But in the meantime, another one of my musings is there. And this one is called, Is Retirement Boring? Because I just realized the other day, come this June, I will have been a retired school teacher for 10 years. I can hardly believe that it's been 10 years. And, well, some of you might be at the point where you're about to retire. And I remember when I was about to retire, there were some scary thoughts about how my life was going to change. So that's what this week's Idiot Quilter Presents Musings is all about. Okay, and that takes me now to one of my creations and my critical review of this. And this is something I made at Christmas, although this was a Christmas gift, but it is not a Christmas theme. I do love wall hangings. My biggest problem with the wall hanging, though, is I don't have enough walls to hang them all on. Same problem I have with hanging my quilts. But I made this one at Christmas time, and I think I may have shown it to you before, but I didn't really talk about it. This is a very special, small, but special wall hanging that I made for Walter's niece at Christmas. And this is her dog. This is her dog, Freddie. He is a Doberman and a great big suck of a dog, from what I hear. But I thought I'd try my hand at digitizing a picture and then sewing it out on my embroidery machine. So I found on our niece's web page, or not web page, but Facebook page, a picture of Freddie. Now, the problem with Freddie is very dark in color, very dark browns. So there's not a lot of contrast. And when you have a picture like that, it's very hard to digitize it for embroidery. But I was able, in Artistic Digitizer, the Gnome product for their machines, I was able to digitize the picture. It took a lot of tweaking to get it to look like this, but I think it turned out really good. And I created this basically wall hanging around his picture. And it looks, I think it looked good. I really do. I think I did a good job on this, and she was thrilled when she received it at Christmas time. But one thing I want to point out is these little applique stars, and you might wonder why those are there. Are they an embellishment? Well, yes, they are. They do add to the overall wall hanging's appearance, but they also cover up a oops. when I attached these triangle pieces, so this is basically a square in a square set on point, I had a little gap. It didn't quite come out evenly. Now, it didn't look bad, but it did look like there was a bit of a problem, that there was an oops. So I just appliqued these little stars on here, and that covers that up. So overall, I think this little project turned out well. I did have someone mention to me that they would like to, when they saw it, have their dog digitized as well. Their problem is their dog is a black lab, and it is very black. And any pictures of that dog just weren't coming out in the digitizer. So I'm afraid there is certain limitations here when it comes to the color of your subject. But for the most part, this one, she was pleased with it. I was pleased with it. So it's a win-win. Didn't ask Freddie how he felt about it, though. So I have had a request from a friend to do another one of those with her dog, but her dog is black. And you need to have a lot of contrast to do something like that. And she said she was going to send me a picture of her dog to try, but maybe she got thinking about it, and because I haven't seen the picture yet. So I'm not going to worry about it because I don't think it's going to work because her dog's all black. Okay, so that takes me to the online fabric store, quilting store this week. This is a place called Cherished Pieces. And please remember, although I do tend to be a little critical based upon my impressions of their website, this does not mean that I'm saying, this is not a place you should go and explore. My opinions are my opinions, okay? And sometimes my opinions will conflict with yours, and that is fine. So here's my review of Cherished Pieces. This week's quilt store online is called Cherished Pieces, and it's located here in Tillsonburg, Ontario, which is probably about 4 hours away from me. So obviously I've never been to their store, but they do have a brick and mortar store. And so this is their front page of their YouTube, or not their YouTube, but of their website. And we'll just scan down here. At the top, they tell you where they're located, and they have their shopping hours, which I think is really good to have that right front and center. Because, if you want to go to a store, you'll know how to get there and when it's open. And then they have a catalog. They have quilt kits, fabric pre-cuts, notions, patterns at it, and featured products, and their fabric line and bestsellers, and what's trending now, classes coming soon, a map, how to get there. They have an Instagram page as well, and categories. So yeah, the front page is very neatly laid out. So let's take a look at fabric. And here we go. So prints, solids, batiks, flannel, wide backings, tea toweling. So let's look at prints. Seasonal, Tim Holtz in the beginning, Laundry Basket Quilts, Lori Holt, Riley Blake Designs, Northcott. Looks like I have to go down a bit on my screen. Go back here. Wyndham, Wyndham Miscellanies. Is that a word? It is now, I guess. Okay, well, let's go with Northcott because they're one of my favorite and they are Canadian. And let's see what comes up. So it's prints. Oh, interesting. I went in Northcott, but they've got Riley Blake. Well, Riley Blake is not Northcott. Did I click on the wrong one? Let me try this again. No, I did not. They've got one Northcott. Well, there's some Northcott here, but it's mixed in with like Timeless Treasures, Free Spirit. So I don't know what that's all about. That's kind of confusing. And not a lot here in this category. Can we see all their fabrics at once? Let's see. Well, it doesn't really look like it. Okay, let's go to boutiques. Now it says items per page 16. Let's go right up to the top to 50. And that's all we have. Geraniums. Okay, not too impressed by that. I was getting all excited about this one because it's in Ontario, but right now my excitement is starting to leave me. Okay, let's go to solids. Let's go over to Riley Blake Designs then, although they popped up in Northcott. See what. Okay, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. They listed them, but they're all going to the same page. Well, that's not very helpful at all. And that's a fat quarter bundle, 42 piece, $175. That sounds a little pricey. Well, let's see. Okay, $12 for Northcott Crackle. I'm assuming, well, let's not assume. No description. More information. That's how you return it. Customer reviews. Oh, really nothing in here. This whoever designed this web page, it's not very good, okay, for finding things. I am assuming that this is for a meter, but it doesn't tell me that at all. Does it tell me anything? Let's see. Let's go back to this more info. Did it say? I mean, if that's for a meter of Northcott fabric, that's really cheap. It's talking about refunds. Shipping, okay. They ship everywhere. But they're not giving us any specific prices. When you place an order, we will estimate shipping and delivery dates for you based on availability of your items. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It sounds to me like they haven't really thought about shipping, which, you know, in this day and age when we're all ordering things online, that's not good. Okay. Well, let's drop this into our cart. A required parameter is missing. Okay. What's the parameter? I'll add 2. Add to cart. I don't know what that means. Does that mean they don't have that in stock? This is very confusing. Okay, let's go to pre-cuts. And let's check out fat quarters. Lots of sales by the looks of things. Okay. Price-wise, not bad. They've got some Liberty fabrics. Not a lot to choose from, though. Okay, let's grab a jelly roll. Let's add it to the cart. Okay. Add to cart. Required parameters missing or invalid items. I have no idea what that means. The description is very, very light. Well, what do we got down here? Okay, down here, this popped up. 42 pieces. Still, nope, I can't add it. Well, that is very, very interesting. Have they just put this page up, or what's the story? Okay, let's go to quilt kits. Baby kits. Does that mean you get a baby with it? Haha. right, quilt as you go, insulated shopper's tote. Well, that's why do they call these baby kits? And these are bags. T-shirt quilt kit. Do they mean the size? It's baby size? I am completely and utterly lost in their classification. Okay, let's see if we can buy this. Add to cart. Oh, that one let me add it to its cart. Maybe if they're out of stock. Okay. View cart. Maybe if they're out of stock, that's why it's coming up saying it's an invalid parameter. But you'd think they would explain that if that's the case. Okay. Get shipping estimates. Canada, province. I'm in Ontario. Now, Prince Edward Island, Ontario. Postal code. Calculate shipping. Okay. Has it done it? There are 12 shipping rates available. FedEx 12.18, UPS 12.76, Canpar 16.75, FedEx Priority Overnight 16.93, UPS Express at 22.57, Canpar Overnight Letter. All right. So they do not go through Canada Post. They go through all these courier systems, and the cheapest looks for that one thing, $12.18. All right, if I increase the quantity on this, let's check. Is it a flat rate, or does it adjust according? Looks like it might be flat rate, but quite a few different ones here. I guess I would go, if I was ordering, that's good, FedEx Ground at $12.18. Whether you get it or not, or how long it takes to get, I don't know. But we're going to get rid of this. Okay. So let's take a look at, they've got Quilt. Okay. There's 57 items according to this. And I guess they're showing it down here, what they have. If I want to add to cart, will it do it? Yeah, it will. So I'm going to assume that the problem we were having adding fabric was that it was out of stock. But it would have been nice if it had said that, if that's the case. Notions. Okay, first thing comes up is patterns. Okay. Bag patterns, other patterns, novelty patterns. Nothing's jumping out and saying, I want this, show more. What would it say? How many more did they have? Oh, well, it doesn't tell us. Now let's go to show more and see what we get out of this. Did we actually get more? Block magazine, yes, there's a few. Well, yeah, they don't really have. They've got the Tucker Studio 180 design patterns. Has some applique. Yeah, Block Magazine. Well, yeah, Block Magazine has patterns in it, but you don't know what they are because it's in a magazine. Now, if you're into applique, it looks like they have a few. Really? Still not impressed. Still not really impressed. Nothing's saying to me I need to go to Tilsonburg to check out their store. Or that I need to order from them. So they've got a sales section. Well, we've got some Wyndham fabrics on sale. Again, We weren't absolutely certain, but if that is what they are a meter, and if any of these appeal to you, seem to have quite a few on sale. Oh, I like those. I have some of those, but I wouldn't mind more of those. And at that price, that's really good. The only thing is, I'm a little iffy about their shipping. Yeah. No, I'm not. I was tempted there to say, I might be tempted to buy some of that, but I don't think I am. Quilting Retreats. Oh, they go to the same place that, oh no, that's not the same place. Well, that's a really nice place where they have their retreats. So I'll bet you, because it's expensive to stay there if you were there not for a retreat. Says store temporary closed due to government shutdown for COVID. Phone in hours, regular hours. Okay, this is old information. Updated January the 6th, 2022. All dates Sunday through Tuesday. Well, it looks like they run retreats on a regular basis because they have all these dates. So maybe that's what it meant by the stores closed. It was really the retreat location. Single occupancy, $525. Double, $410. Meals included. Dinner daily, day of arrival. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Spa discount. Pop-up shop on site. You know, that's pricey, even with the meals included, but it's because of the location, because this is a resort, very nice resort. So, yeah, you're paying for that. Okay, so what have we determined here? We've talked about the shipping, store hours, where they're located, their price on their fabric, which I'm still not sure on. I really don't think they have much of a selection in fabric. They don't seem to have much in notions, patterns, that's it. Overall, I really don't think it's worth my effort to purchase anything from this particular online quilt store. And just as a side note too, when I'm reviewing these, I do include in my review the easy or how easy it is to navigate their website. And I don't like this one at all, the way it navigates it, as you could see in what you heard from what I said. You know, things all, they have categories, but everything seems to be in the same category. It's not very well laid out. So yeah, not really impressed with Cherished Pieces. Okay, so that's bringing us near the end of the episode, but I just want to give you some reminders about upcoming events. Tomorrow, March the 2nd, Wednesday, March the 2nd is the first Wednesday of the month, and so we have Craft and Chat starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All are welcome. The link is in the show notes below. And you know, it's just a friendly, fun environment for those of you that have participated before, where we work on whatever we want to work on and talk about whatever we want to talk about, except we try to stay away from politics or COVID or that kind of thing. It's a, you know, it's a safe, drama-free environment. And so all are welcome. And it's a Zoom event. And then, of course, we've got the big event coming this weekend, March the 5th, the Idiot Quilter Retreat, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Time and running till approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a great day. I have an agenda all made up. I have 3 guest speakers that I know you're going to love, especially my keynote speaker. Can't tell you yet who that is. I will be sending out the agenda later this week after I finalize everything with my keynote speaker, which happens tomorrow. So you'll probably get it late tomorrow or Thursday. And that will go out to those of you that have already told me that you are planning to attend the retreat and you have sent me a note saying so I have your email address, because that's how I will send that agenda out. If you have not told me you're attending but you're planning to, I would appreciate you letting me know, just for statistical purposes. But then again, it doesn't matter. You can show up at the last minute too, and that's fine. So no worries with that. And the links are in the show note. And of course, on the Friday night before at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Walter and I are going to be hosting the Icebreaker Cocktail Party, getting people warmed up for the retreat. So if you're available, want to join us for a little while, please do. It's not going to last very long, maybe, an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. We're just going to meet the other people who are planning to attend. That's the ice breaking. We're going to have a couple of drinks. Well, Walter and I will. You suit yourself on what you'd like to eat or drink if you're there. And bring along, if you'd like, no pressure, something you'd like to show us, or maybe give us a preview of something you're going to be working on during the retreat. We might play a game or two as well, just to have a little fun. And so it's just a relaxed, enjoyable couple of hours on a Friday night. So if you got nothing better to do, why not pop in? And the show note, or the Zoom link for that, is in the show notes below. Okay, well, that's about it. It's a busy week for me, getting all the things that I need to get done for the retreat and the cocktail party and craft and chat. Yep. And in the midst of all of this, as an aside, my hot water tank decided to leak. We discovered it last night at about 10 o'clock. So I've got somebody coming out here from the company we rent the hot water tank from to take a look at it, and hopefully they'll get out here and they'll get us fixed up. So yeah, it never rains, it pours. Okay? Always, when you're the most busy is when something else gets dumped onto you. But that's life, and I'm really glad that I'm retired, because I don't have to worry about, having to go to work when all this stuff is happening. So anyways, I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're looking forward to the retreat and the craft and chat and everything else, and to have a good time. So we'll see you soon. Bye for now.